Bonjour tout le monde et bienvenue à mon programme de YouTube, le courant de pensée de Jim. Je suis Jim. Et maintenant, aujourd'hui, on va critiquer une série du Netflix très très populaire, s'appelle Lupin. And that's enough mangling of the French language for one video. So as promised, I'll now be reviewing the second part of the extremely popular Netflix series Lupin. Okay, the 5 episodes that debuted around this time last week. So the series I'll be reviewing is a sequel of sorts. The first 5 episodes debuted some months ago, and I didn't review them, although I will touch upon them briefly. Lupin is actually not the name of the title character exactly, but rather the name of the fictional character, the pulp hero Arsène Lupin, whose adventures in print inspired the lead, Assane Diop, who basically adopts the Lupin persona. Assane Diop, as played by the ultra charming Omar Sy, is a man on a mission. He's a highly skilled gentleman burglar, but he's not just in it for the kicks. He's out to obtain justice for his father, Babacar Diop, who was wrongly framed by his boss Hubert Pellegrini, played with great villainous verve by Hervé Pierre. Okay, so Assane Diop, in the present day, has taken it upon himself to not necessarily avenge, but to do justice to his father by bringing the truth about his framing to light. Basically, Pellegrini framed Babacar Diop for the theft of a necklace. This was explored in the first 5 episodes. And the last season, the first part, ended on a cliffhanger with Pellegrini's goon kidnapping Diop's son, played by Ethan Simon, much to the terror not only of Diop, but also his baby mama / ex-girlfriend Claire, played by Ludivine Sagnier. And so now it falls upon Lupin, together with his buddy Benjamin, played by Antoine Gouy, to finally get the goods on the extremely wicked Pellegrini, who seems to have all of the resources at his disposal, as powerful men tend to do, including a police chief firmly in his pocket. So, will Lupin, aka Assane Diop, prevail, or will the gentleman burglar find himself behind bars like his dad did? Well, you'll have to see to find out. Okay, so to assess this series, one needs to go very briefly back into the first 5 episodes, and I won't do that at length. But I will say this: the first part of Lupin started out very, very strongly with 2 episodes directed by no less than Louis Leterrier, whom some of you may remember as the director of heist movie, magic / heist movie, Now You See Me. So they had a really nice Ocean's 11 vibe to them, and they were extremely enjoyable. But as season 1 stretched out, the writing got a little sloppy. Basically, Lupin, in trying to get the goods on Pellegrini, committed a very basic error. I mean, he tried to discredit him on TV with an old VHS tape and didn't bother to make a copy. This was season 1, by the way. So what it boiled down to was that season 1 resorted to the tired old trick of the hero forgetting basic rules. I mean, the hero basically leaving his brain at the door in order for the plot to move forward. Okay? And I mean, it's basically the first season ended with an unwelcome chunk of plot-driven storytelling, and that kind of negated the good vibes that the first couple of episodes had generated. I'm happy to say that that's not the case with the second season. The second season hits the ground running because Lupin's son, Raoul, has just been kidnapped, and the episode starts with him on a desperate mission to save him from Pellegrini's goon, who incidentally also had something to do with Babakar Diop's death. Okay, so it's nice and fast paced, especially since the cops are hot on Diop's tail because I may have forgotten to mention that in the first season, the very first episode, Diop boosts the very same necklace that his father was falsely accused of stealing. So Diop, to get even with Pellegrini, who faked the theft of the necklace to claim the insurance money, really does steal the necklace. Okay, and basically the police have been on his tail ever since. So that now brings us to the second season, where Lupin, or Diop slash Lupin, is wanted by the police, but at the same time dealing with people who operate very much outside the law. Anyway, the 5 episodes that follow are fast paced. They're they're very well told. I mean, I'm sure that if you really wanted to, you could pick apart the details, but the pacing is really good. Unfortunately, Leterrier doesn't come back to direct any of the episodes, but it doesn't matter. The pacing is nonetheless very good. The heist slash Ocean's 11 vibe is still there. Omar Sy is still effortlessly charming. I mean, the guy carries this series. He's got a fantastic screen presence. He towers over everyone else in the show, but much more than just simple size. He just exudes this fantastic charm, and it doesn't help that he has this fantastically symmetrical face that looks like it was carved out of obsidian or something. I mean, he has, in my humble opinion, he has the most symmetrical face I've seen on an actor since Denzel Washington. It's pretty remarkable. Anyway, so thanks to some really good writing, some really solid performances, not only from Omar Sy, but from the supporting actors as well, including the really villainous Hervé Pierre. The series is really engaging, and even though at around 50 odd minutes an episode, it's almost 6, well, it's just under 6 hours. You don't really feel it. Well, the viewer doesn't really feel it because the showrunners keep the pace moving at very, very briskly. Okay. And then another nice thing is that the story ties up quite neatly. No spoilers, no worries. And I really, really enjoyed the Ocean's 11 vibe, especially that story device of showing a sequence of events and then going back to show the viewer just how these events took place. Yeah, I know it's been done before, but I still like the way they did it here. I thought it was really cool. I love the European, the distinctly European heist music, complete with the violins and the menacing undertones. It's really it's really meat and potato storytelling. You know, it's not trying super hard to tell any topical message. Although there's some undertones about how Pellegrini was evil to Babakar Diop because he's a racist. But no, I mean that's frankly, if I'm very frank, that's all peripheral. The showrunners, the writer, the directors, it seems to me that what they really wanted to do was tell a good story, especially with the second part, because after abandoning logic and proper character development in the first part just to advance your story, they get properly back on track in the second story. Okay, Lupin does not get careless in the second story just to move the plot forward. Okay, everything here is consistent. If he has a hard time taking the bad guy down, it's because the bad guy has all the resources at his disposal. It makes sense. The second series cures a lot of the defects of the first series, and I'm happy to note that. So, because this series was just so much more enjoyable than the first part, I will give it a 9 out of 10. And yeah, I know that sounds generous, but they deserve it. These guys put out a really good show. Okay. And that's all for the second episode. I hope to be back soon with a review of Sweet Tooth, which I just finished yesterday. Okay. And remember, if you like what you see, please give a like and subscribe.